In 4 of the 5 kingdoms, Norks begin collecting crystal dragon statues as each villain looks on in satisfaction at having control over their own kingdom. Dr. Shemp makes himself comfortable at the Dry Canyon Stronghold within the Peacemaker Kingdom. Blowhard is relaxing at the Wizard's Peak Stronghold within the Magic Crafters Kingdom. Jacques is roaming the lofty castle in the Dreamweaver's Kingdom. And finally, Metalhead, slightly distressed by the articulation of his orichalcum body for some reason, sits down on the throne of the Beastmaker's Stronghold in the Misty Bog. And so, the invasion begins. Meanwhile, in Gnasty's realm, the ship that was docked at the North Cove is already en route to its destination, an hour already passing since then. Within the ship's cargo bay, a crystal dragon statue lying on its side on the floor begins to shake and then crack, purple sparks of light beginning to radiate from the statue. With little to no explanation, the statue shatters, revealing an unconscious Spyro lying on the floor. Spyro then begins to come to, looking around to get his footing. Where am I? Spyro then looks out of a porthole as a horn blows, allowing Spyro to put 2 and 2 together that he's on a ship sailing in the ocean. A boat? Spyro then notices 2 other statues. Guys? Oh no! Spyro's head is down in seeming defeat, followed by placing his paw on the nearest statue. Sorry guys, I tried. Suddenly, a little spark of purple energy touches the statue, causing it to begin to shake, followed by breaking and releasing Ember. She then comes to. Spyro? Ember! Spyro then helps Ember up. What happened? We got turned into statues. For some reason, I broke out. Then I touched your statue, and now you're free too. Really? Ember then looks around to see one more statue. Well then, let's see if you can do it again. After Spyro touches the other statue, it begins to shake, eventually releasing flame. Flame! Yo, dude! That was one wicked nap. It wasn't a nap. We were turned into those crystal dragon statues, just like all the other dragons in the other 5 kingdoms. Except Spyro was able to break free on his own for some reason. When I touched the statues, it was like a little purple spark came out of my paw. Maybe it's your special power, like by heat absorption. Every dragon gets one eventually. Well, let's first focus on the problem and figure out where we are. We're on a ship for some reason, but I don't know where it's going. Suddenly, the boat begins to shake as an explosion is heard. We're under attack! Out on the main deck, the Nork sailors and soldiers are being attacked by an unknown force, hurling buzzsaws and energy blasts at them. The Norks above scream in terror, much to Spyro and friends' uncomfortable feeling. You think it's pirates? I'm afraid of pirates! Ember looks at Flame in confusion. He had a bad nightmare about pirates once. Back on the main deck, the Norks begin to jump overboard. Abandoned ship! Abandoned ship! After a few seconds of silence, an explosion comes through the wall of the ship into the cargo bay. From the smoke emerges the dragon in cybernetic armor, voiced by Richard Horvitz. Avast me, Hardy. The dragon then opens his visor helmet to reveal himself and turn off his distorted voice. Sorry, a lot of smoke. Is everyone alright? That voice from earlier. You're the one that saved us back at the tunnel. The dragon? Here? I thought they were all gone. If you're referring to the machinists, they are. He's not silver. An astute observation. You may refer to me as Drobot. Drobot? So you're like a dragon robot? Not exactly. I'm fully organic. I washed up on this island years ago. Never found out how I got here, but I was taken in by the machinists. They taught me everything I know. I've been this Archive Supreme for years. Archive Supreme? You mean you're the keeper of the history of the machinists? Correct. What about after the machinists were destroyed? What happened then? Alright. Truth is, I was an archivist in training. The history has always been so vast. I remember every single piece of it I've researched. But then they had to leave to help the other 5 kingdoms in their realm. They never came back. I've been hiding in the tunnels ever since, hoping for a miracle. I know, not usually expected of a dragon of science, but it's all I had. And then it happened. You all showed up. And after seeing you guys take on the Norks, I'm gonna help you out. Why didn't you help us during the fight earlier? Highly illogical. Even with my help, the odds were stacked against you as long as Gnasty Nork has that crystal shard. Even my weapons couldn't stand a chance. That's why I chose now to save you, so we could have a chance to strategize. Any chance we can start with going back to the island? I've just noticed that Sparks and Zoe aren't here. No problem, chum. However, I would recommend a brief respite, as I'm sure you're still feeling the negative ramifications of your mystical stasis. Spyro and friends then look at Drobot in awkward silence. You were frozen in crystal. Get some rest on the way back. Oh, that makes sense. Drobot then goes up to the control deck and steers the ship back toward Gnasty's island. Next stop, Twilight Harbor. Spyro and friends then make it to the main deck, relaxing as best they can before their big fight. So where do you think we were headed? Not sure, but wherever it was really, it feels off Gnasty's beaten path. Why not just destroy us up front? Suddenly, Spyro begins to hear a metallic clanging, only to see that the source of the clanging is Ember knocking her head against the wall, her horns tapping against the metallic wall to make noise. Ember, you okay? Peachy, not to rattle anyone's chain, but you did seem very peachy back at the Stronghold. You know, whenever someone says not to rattle anyone's chain, it's usually because they know they're gonna say something that rattles a person's chain. Look, I'm sorry, Ember, but what else can I say? You acted recklessly back there. You gave up the element of surprise. Oh, well, sorry if I'm the only one eager to finally end Gnasty's plan. We had a plan, to stop Gnasty. Well, the plan wasn't going to work. Ember, what's your problem? Oh, I'm the one with the problem. So I guess Gnarly's more important than Gnasty, is that it? And what's that supposed to mean? You know what? Not pulling that pin. Oh, I'm gonna pull something if you keep it up, Fireboy. Guys, break it up. Ember, what's wrong? What's wrong, Spyro? I don't know. Maybe because our loved ones are statues. Or maybe because I want to avenge my mother. Or maybe it's the fact that my mother was the real villain this whole time. Ember. Whether Gnarly was evil or not beforehand, it was our parents that took their home from them. But at the same time, he took my mother from me. And I don't know what to do, guys. Ember curls up on the floor, frustrated at the situation. Flame then lies down across from Ember, with a solemn expression. It hurts me too, Ember. Ember then sits up, acknowledging Flame's words. When I heard that my parents, the leaders of the 2nd Inferno Battalion, were on the side that took the Norks' homeland, I wanted to scream. I wanted to unleash all the flames I had until my cauldron gland was empty. Because I was beginning to believe that my flames were a lie. And in truth, maybe they are. But I'm not gonna let my parents' mistakes define who I am, define where I go from here. I'm Flame, and I don't plan on forgetting that. But we're not stupid enough to keep pretending that the truth hasn't changed us. There's a moment of awkward silence in the air before the silence is broken. Land ho! Spyro and friends then look on to see the island far off in the distance. Still gonna be about 40 minutes before we arrive. I just thought I'd let you know. Spyro then looks at Ember, noticing that she's still sad. You gonna be... I don't know, Spyro. I'm so angry at Gnarly. I'm angry at my mother too. I don't know how to feel anymore. And I don't know what to do. Well, I'm sure you'll know when the time is right. Either way, it doesn't seem like you, me, or Flame are going to become who we were supposed to be. Because the truth ruined that for us. We're not the same anymore. Spyro looks at Flame, who's showing an expression of agreement with Ember. Spyro then shows an expression of determination, and then turns to Ember and Flame, catching their attention. Sometimes, there's a difference between who we want to become and who we were supposed to be. To me, you're Flame, the coolest dragon in the Artisan Kingdom, with a flame that burns as bright as the sun. And you're Ember, the smartest dragon in the Artisan Kingdom, with a heart as pure as any gem. And me, I'm Spyro, the spunky little dragon raised by dragonflies. You're both who I'm proud to call my best friends. Whoever we were supposed to be is a question that may never be answered. But while we may never become the dragons we were supposed to be, we've become the dragons we needed to be. Which means one day, and that day may be today, the world may need a cool red dragon, a smart pink dragon, and a lone purple dragon more than it realizes. More than we even realize. Flame and Ember then look at each other, taking in Spyro's words, but then smiling after understanding what Spyro is trying to tell them. Well then, what are we waiting for? Let's kick some Nork tail, dude! If you guys are interested, Spyro turns to face Strobot. I have a strategy that just might work. What did you have in mind? Meanwhile, at Gnasty's Stronghold, Sparks and Zoe are being kept in the same special jars as the fairies, hooking them up to the makeshift portal. Ha! You really think we'll be enough to juice the portal?
Well, I just need you for your special magic and him for his magic control. You know, I've heard that dragonflies' magic is based on their color, but I've never heard of a golden dragonfly. Looks like you and the purple dragon have something in common. You're both one-of-a-kind freaks.
Have you looked in the mirror lately?
Ah! Calm down, Gnasty. Don't break the battery.
Gnasty then walks over next to the control console as the remnants of Gnasty, Enork's army, stands behind him.
It'll all be worth it in the end.
Yeah, you still don't have enough power, genius.
Oh, I don't, do I?
Norks then walk up with at least 18 dragon eggs and hook them up to the portal. The stolen dragon eggs!
18 of them, actually. Made a deal with the Thieves Guild to let go of a few, and it took some doing. Start it up!
A Nork engineer activates the portal, causing it to begin to drain Sparks and Zoe of their magic. Sparks! As Sparks' magic begins to drain, he slowly reverts to his blue form. Gnasty Nork then chuckles in anticipation, turning to his army in a huff.
Today marks a new age for the Nork Empire!
Gnasty lifts his mace as his army cheers.
Today we not only rule 2 worlds, we rule them all!
Suddenly, the sound of a loud horn is heard.
Alright, who did that? I'm looking at you, Gary. I know you've been hogging the bean burritos. Hey, wait a minute.
The horn then sounds off one more time, leading Gnasty to use his magic to lift himself up to a high place. Gnasty then notices the ship arriving at the Twilight Harbor, much to Gnasty's shock and distress.
The dragons! They're back! To your battle stations! Destroy them all!
Gnasty's whole army heads for the Twilight Harbor in order to intercept the dragons. Back at the Twilight Harbor, Spyro and friends arrive to see the Nork army all charge at them on foot, boats, vehicles, and many other ways. Spyro then looks on with an expression of determination. Let's fly! Spyro and friends then take off and fly towards Gnasty's stronghold. Spyro and friends then unleash all of their firepower on the army of Norks. As Drobot flies on high, he unleashes a barrage of eye blasters at the Norks, bringing down a large chunk of the front right army. As the Dragon Trio descends, they instantly charge their horns at the Norks in front of them all, being able to push through the groups of Norks that are trying to stop them from entering the stronghold.
I'll stop it myself!
Gnasty Nork then jumps down to face Spyro and friends, who stop in their tracks due to Gnasty's appearance.
You really think you can stop me?
We don't have to. Gnasty Nork then looks up, noticing Drobot flying toward them.
Another one!
Drobot then zooms straight past Gnasty and company, headed straight into the stronghold.
The portal!
Gnasty then shoots out a magic blast to push Spyro and friends back, followed by running straight back to the portal at top speed. Looks like he's in too much of a rush. Just like Dro said. Fly ahead and catch up with Drobot. Gnasty Nork's mine. Meanwhile, Gnasty is running through the stronghold, dodging through many obstacles, and too distracted with the portal to attempt to use the crystal to float back. Just then, Gnasty stops at a high rise, nearly about to fall into the purple waters below. Gnasty then hears an odd sound, leading him to turn and realize that it's the sound of flames heading his way, which he easily defends against, but sustains slight burns.
Wow!
Gnasty then looks on as he sees Spyro landing slightly far behind him. Suddenly, a door opens at Gnasty's side, allowing him to keep moving forward and continue running toward the portal. Spyro follows behind, now chasing Gnasty in what appears to be some kind of molten metal storage unit. A Nork engineer nearby, in the control room, awkwardly witnesses the chase.
Roast the dragon!
The Nork engineer then pushes a button, retracting the platforms over the molten metal. After noticing, Spyro attempts to hightail it as fast as he can through the storage unit. However, the moment Gnasty gets to the end of it, he begins firing magic beams at Spyro, leading him to try and dodge them as best as he can. After dodging the previous one, Spyro then looks down at the molten lava and gets an idea. After dodging the next beam, Spyro then shoots fire at the lava below, causing a small explosion which lets out a burst of updrafted air. Spyro then uses this updraft to lift himself into the air and allows him to glide toward Gnasty, much to his surprise.
Uh-oh.
As Spyro closes in, he then unleashes a flame at Gnasty, causing him to move back in pain.
Wow!
As he glides toward Gnasty, Spyro then charges him with his horns, pushing Gnasty through the wall behind him and landing deep into the Stronghold's war room. After Gnasty falls to the ground, Spyro then lands in front of Gnasty, ready to finish things. It's you and me, Gnasty Nork. It's over.
You sure about that?
Suddenly, armed thieves appear and surround Spyro and Gnasty. Still hiding behind your cronies, Nork?
They're not just here, you know.
Meanwhile, at the makeshift portal, Ember, Flame, and Drobot arrive, only to see Sparks, Zoe, and the dragon eggs being drained of their magic. Drobot then checks the nearby console left unattended.
The portal's fully charged. Gnasty must have left them in there to finish them off. We gotta get them out. Don't be hasty. If any of them are dejected during the activation, the portal could explode, or implode, or whatever. I need to shut it down manually.
Sparks and Zoe continue to shout out in pain, as the portal is draining them of their magic.
Sparks! Just a bit more time.
Just then, a group of Nork warriors approach Ember and company, leading Ember and Flame to ready themselves for battle.
Just great.
Back in the war room, Gnasty Nork backs up to allow the Thieves Guild to approach Spyro. Can't you fight your own battles, Nork?
I'll finally rule everything.
Just then, the vault door behind Gnasty Nork opens, revealing a bag of the rest of the dragon eggs in it.
So I don't have to.
This is low, Nork, even for you.
This is literally the third time we've met. You don't know what I'm capable of.
Yeah? But you don't know what I'm capable of either. A long, awkward silence then fills the air.
And that means...
Suddenly, the war room begins to shake and small sparks fall out of the crevices in the roof.
What the?
Back at the portal, the last of the Nork warriors are beaten, followed by Drobot finally disabling the portal. Ember and Flame then retrieve a blue Sparks, Zoe, and the 18 dragon eggs.
Sparks! Zoe! Speak to us, dudes!
Zoe then comes to, followed by helping Sparks up since he's still recovering.
This is nothing. Should have seen my 10th birthday party. Too much cake. Uh-oh. Why uh-oh? It's fully charged, but the problem is without a conduit to channel the dimensional energy, we won't know where the portal will send us. Someone with the same energy as a magic user needs to place their hands on the power pylons and help direct the energy to a single point.
Sparks then looks at the power pylons, followed by flying up to them.
Sparks, what are you doing?
Spyro's not here, so I'm guessing he's handling Nork. If he's giving it all he's got, then I am too.
But you're already blue. This could kill you.
Sparks then flies toward the power pylons, ready to give them his magic. I have the most magic power between me and Zoe. It has to be me. I don't know what you guys are planning, but whatever it is, you better get it done. For everyone's sake. Sparks! Sparks then reaches his hands out to touch the power pylons. If anything happens, tell Spyro I didn't give up. After making contact with the power pylons, Sparks begins channeling the magical energy within the portal. Drobot looks down at the console, ready to set a destination.
It's working! Zoe, mind doing us a favor?
Back in the war room, Gnasty and the thieves look up in confusion.
The portal! Destroy him and you'll get the rest of the eggs!
Just then, Zoe teleports next to Spyro.
So long, losers!
Zoe then grabs onto Spyro and teleports him away as swiftly as she can, followed by teleporting away with the dragon eggs, much to Gnasty Nork's disappointment. Back at the portal, Zoe appears with the dragon eggs. Looks like everything went as planned, Drobot.
Perfect! I'm setting the first destination right now.
Zoe, take the eggs back to the Artisan Castle. Find Mrs. Shoutfire. She's the only other pink dragon in the Artisan Kingdom. You can't miss her.
Okay. Tell Sparks I'll be expecting him back to thank him properly.
I will. Zoe then teleports away back to the Artisan Kingdom.
Not to rush anyone, but can we get on with it? Hang on, Sparks. Alright, guys, you know your destinations. Spyro, I'm going to the Misty Bog. I think I know what I have to do now.
Spyro nods in agreement.
First destination, the Beastmaker Kingdom.
Suddenly, the portal opens. Ember walks up to it, ready to confront her next enemy. I'm counting on you to make it back, Ember.
That should really be my line.
As Ember walks forward, she runs back to Spyro, surprisingly kissing him on the cheek, making Spyro blush.
Thank you.
For what?
For saving me.
Ember then runs into the portal, Spyro perplexed by what's just happened. But when did I...
Okay, now that the mushy stuff's done, I'll deal with Shemp at Dry Canyon. Dry Canyon coming right up.
A new portal then opens for Flame.
Good luck, dude. I won't need it. I've got friends who believe in me,
who see me more as just a flame. Even flames can be cool too, dude. Spyro and Flame do their secret handshake before Flame finally crosses through the portal.
Looks like that leaves Blowheart and Jacques. That weird Jack-in-the-Box thing. They thought I was too creepy, so they sent him to the lofty castle after Toasty left.
So we're one dragon short. Spyro thinks of something for a moment. Go to the Dreamweavers.
But I need to stay with the console. And why not go for Blowhard? Isn't he a greater threat?
If I remember from class, which I never usually do, the Dreamweavers help protect the realm of dreams. We can't take any chances. You're planning on staying to face Nork, aren't you? Spyro then nods in response, confirming Drobot's words.
Very well.
Spark's magic is near its limit, shown by his color blinking from blue to green.
Can we get on with it, so I can catch a break? Protect the console. It's the only way back.
I'll do my best. Drobot then enters the portal to the Dreamweaver Kingdom, allowing Sparks to finally let the power pylons go. Phew. Sparks, you're green. Yeah, it's the color I was born with. I guess gold was too flashy, so I got stuck with green. You should get somewhere safe, pal. What? And leave my brother hanging? We're in this together, pal. I've still got magic to spare, albeit very little. Thanks, bro. Just then, Sparks notices something behind Spyro. Spyro? Spyro looks on to see a lone and angry Gnasty Nork stomping toward them. So, where are your cronies now?
Gone since you took the eggs. But don't worry. I don't need them to finish you off.
Let's finish this, Gnasty Nork. After a brief tension, Spyro and Gnasty charge at each other with everything they've got. Meanwhile, in the lofty castle in the Dreamweaver Kingdom, Jacques is just destroying everything by throwing around his explosive presence. Suddenly, a powerful blast of energy zaps the floor, inches away from Jacques, startling him. Jacques looks back to see Drobot exiting a portal and zooming toward him, leading Jacques to hop away in fear. At the Dry Canyon, Norks are feeding grapes to Dr. Shemp at the Dry Canyon Stronghold.
What does a witch doctor have to do to get some strawberries around here?
Suddenly, a portal opens in front of Dr. Shemp, startling him.
What in the world?
Flame then exits the portal, ready to face Dr. Shemp, much to his surprise.
Well. I guess Gnasty is too gullible to finish you.
Yeah, well, let's see how gullible you are. Enraged, Shemp grabs his staff as his underlings run away from the fight. The two charge at each other with fury behind their eyes. Meanwhile, in the Beastmaker's stronghold, Metalhead is testing his body's articulation for some reason while sitting on a throne in a dimly lit room. Suddenly, Metalhead begins hearing the sounds of screaming and explosions coming from outside, only for an explosion to blast right through the entrance door. From the smoke emerged a serious-looking Ember, ready for the most important fight of her life.
Well, it appears my worries were right. My brother is just as much of a failure as he always was.
Spyro's dealing with him, but this is between you and me, gnarly Nork. Other realms shouldn't have to suffer from my parents' mistakes. That leaves me with one question. Were you really going to give the dragons a home?
We Norks have always been conquerors. We always had intentions to rule the world we lived in. As warriors, we still live by our sense of honor. And our word as warriors is a part of that pride. No doubt my brother disrespected this pride. But one of your kind instigated the war before we could reach an agreement. A red dragon who wore a pendant similar to the one your mother wore. One you wear now.
Speaking of which, I'm sure you know why I'm here.
Vengeance, no doubt. In that case,
Metalhead then snaps his fingers, turning on the surrounding power pylons, which begin to glow. That Ember didn't notice due to the room being dimly lit. Ember looks on in surprise at the surrounding power pylons. Now then. Metalhead then stands up from his throne and begins radiating magic lightning in the palms of his hand. Vengeance will be mine. Back at the Dreamweaver territory, Drobot continues chasing after Jacques into the Dreamweaver Monastery, while also dodging his explosive presence. Drobot then dodges another present that explodes behind him after landing below.
Where does he keep getting these presents? He doesn't even have pockets!
Jacques then throws another present, which Drobot dodges.
Whoa! I'll chalk it up to Toon Force theory.
Drobot then follows Jacques toward the center of the volcanic pit. Jacques then looks down as he's cornered with nowhere to hop.
End of the road! Oh, Jack-in-the-Box?
Or at least a Jack-in-the-Box reject. Out of desperation, Jacques tries to pull anything that can help him out of his hat, leading him to find a pair of wings that he puts on, allowing him to fly around with the help of the volcanic updraft. Yep, Toon Force theory! Back at the Dry Canyon Stronghold, Flame keeps hurling fireballs at Shemp, while he keeps hurling dark magic beams at Flame. The two chase each other around the Stronghold in order to best one another. Meanwhile, in the Beastmaker's Stronghold, Ember is dodging Metalhead's lightning. As Ember dodges another lightning blast, she accidentally bumps into and destroys a power pylon, leading Metalhead to stagger for a moment. Ember noticing this, leading her to charge at the power pylons, destroying each of them in the room, now knowing Metalhead's weakness. Metalhead then walks back to the throne and pushes a button, opening a hidden pathway behind the throne. Let's finish this, dragon! Angered Ember then follows in pursuit of Metalhead. Back in Gnasty's Stronghold, Spyro and Sparks do their best to dodge Gnasty's mace swings and green magic beams. Gnasty then shoots a more powerful magic beam at Spyro, leading Sparks to create a magic barrier to protect him, doing his best to hold back the beam. Sparks! Oh, just stand there! Flame him! Spyro then jumps over Sparks and glides toward Gnasty, breathing fire onto Gnasty's face. Despite being temporarily blinded, Gnasty Gnorc flails his mace around and hits Spyro, pushing him to the opposite path of the portal and leaving him unconscious. Spyro! As Gnasty Gnorc stomps towards Spyro, Sparks uses the remnants of his magic to distract Gnasty. Sparks flies around him, shooting small magic beams at him, and getting his attention away from Spyro. Back at the Dreamweaver Monastery, Drobot is chasing a winged Jacques all around above the volcanic pit. Just then, Jacques decides to throw all of his explosive presents into the volcanic pit, leading it to prepare for eruption.
No, Sparks!
Jacques then begins to throw more explosive presents at Drobot. Drobot then looks down at the lava, getting an idea.
I think I saw this in a movie once. Don't fail me now, Matthew McConaughey!
Drobot dives downward toward the volcanic pit. Jacques then follows behind with a malicious grin on his face.
And hop!
Drobot does a backflip in midair, allowing Jacques to pass him. After stopping midair and looking behind himself, Jacques is then blasted into the lava by Drobot's eye blasters. Jacques desperately tries to escape the lava, but melts into bolts and wires as he sinks down into the volcanic pit.
Phew!
Just then, the volcanic pit begins to shake, ready to erupt. Oh no! Drobot then activates his drill tail.
Tail, don't fail me now!
Drobot uses his drill tail to cut into the edges of the volcanic pit, breaking the rocks apart and having them fall into the volcanic pit, eventually stopping the eruption.
Phew! I had to get out of the tunnel once in a while.
Back at the Dry Canyon Stronghold, Flame continues to shoot fireballs at Shemp while he shoots dark magic blasts at Flame. As Flame closes it in, he breathes fire at Shemp, but it has no effect due to Shemp's armored plate at his front. Uh-oh. Shemp looks down at Flame with a malicious smile. Shemp then blasts Flame, pushing him back.
Whoa!
Flame then gets up from falling on the ground, slightly disoriented. Flame then shakes his head and snaps out of it. Shemp then approaches Flame at a distance. As long as I got this orichalcum armor plating at my front, your flames are useless. Doesn't matter, because my flames are gonna burn bright. Flash fire! Flame unleashes his blinding light at Shemp, only to notice something he was too distracted to notice. Sunglasses, bunk! Annoyed, Flame charges at Dr. Shemp, ready to take him on. It's time for a little daydream. Flame jumps at Shemp, charging straight for his face. However, Shemp then poofs into a puff of purple smoke, landing on the ground surrounded by purple mist. What's going on? Where are you? Flame, my son. Flame then turns around to see the image of his father, Pyrus, and the silhouette of his mother. Dad? Mom? Flame then approaches his parents, confused at his mother's silhouetted appearance. But how? And why can't I see Mom? This world only shows those whom you know how you know them. You've only seen me in etchings, so you can see me much clearer. But you've never seen your mother, nor any image of her, and so cannot comprehend her true form. But that matters little. We can find her together. If you stay, we can be a family. But your friends will be fine. Your flame has burned its brightest. Flame looks on in confusion, followed by nodding his head downward in slight sorrow. Pyrus places his paw on Flame's shoulder. I know our actions were unforgivable, but know that it's all behind us now. We can be a complete family. But that's just it. We can't. What? Because I already know this isn't real. I just never thought I'd be able to face you after everything. I've been so alone for so long. Now I realize I'm not anymore. I've got Lindar and my friends. They're my new family. And they've allowed my flame to burn bright. But it's not bright enough yet. It won't be as long as I'm stuck in the past. Stuck at the very moment of my hatching. Flame begins to radiate an aura of flames throughout his body, much to Pyrus' shock. Sorry, Dad. But my flame's not yours anymore. No. It's mine! No! Flame then unleashes a wave of flames from his body, destroying the illusionary dream and returning from the realm of dreams, much to Dr. Shemp's surprise. But how? Flame then opens his eyes, as if he just woke up from a meditation. Because I'm not just burning my flames. I'm burning my friends' flames too. Enraged, Dr. Shemp charges at Flame, swinging his staff at him, only for Flame to jump over him and land behind him. Flame then breathes flames onto Shemp's butt as a result. As Dr. Shemp hops around in pain with a flaming butt, Flame takes a charging stance, absorbing as much heat as he possibly can. My friends by my side, I'll burn the brightest I ever have! Flame then charges toward Dr. Shemp, unleashing a comet dash directly into his orichalcum plate. No! As Flame pushes on, he unleashes all of the flames he can. You're about to get flamed! Epically, Flame breaks through Shemp's orichalcum plating, launching him far off into the distance.
This ain't the last you've seen of me!
Flame looks on, a smile adorning his face. I'm coming, guys. Back at the Beastmaker's stronghold, Ember exits the stronghold only to arrive at an arena at the center of it, Metalhead ready and surrounded by more power pylons.
An arena?
The ancient Nork arena, defiled by the Beastmakers. Here, Norks of many have tested their mettle, and it is here your line will end, and the dragon shall suffer from what they've taken from us.
Metalhead then unleashes a lightning blast from his arm laser, leading Ember to dodge as much as she can. Ember then unleashes as much fire breath as against Metalhead, only for his orichalcum body to not be phased. Ember then decides to breathe fire on the ground, creating a smoke wave that blocks her from view of Metalhead. When the smoke clears, Ember is nowhere to be found, leading Metalhead to wander the arena.
So the coward's path is the one you choose. Either way, there's nowhere to run.
Meanwhile, Ember is hiding behind one of the nearby power pylons in the arena.
I can't face him head on. There are pylons outside the arena. I can go for one, but he'll spot me. Even so, these pylons are my only cover in the arena. There's gotta be something I can do.
What's wrong? Your mother had more bravery than this. Perhaps I did the realms a favor by ridding it of her.
Enraged, Ember uses the pylon to gain momentum and charge at Metalhead, unleashing a barrage of fireballs at him. Ember swiftly circles Metalhead, hurling fireballs left and right. In response, Metalhead unleashes as many lightning blasts as he can, ultimately destroying all the power pylons in the arena, leaving Ember exposed. Metalhead begins to weaken, Ember noticing the connection between him and the pylons.
His body's weakened. Must be suffering from the damage of when he ripped himself apart. They must have not have had enough orichalcum to rebuild him perfectly. The pylons, they're keeping his body intact like magnets. I've gotta aim for the joints.
Ember then charges at Metalhead while he's on his knees, unleashing her most powerful fire breath. However, Metalhead powers through the fire, hitting Ember with his metallic arm, pushing her back as a result. As Ember hits the ground, her necklace falls down across from her. As Ember then gets up, Metalhead picks up the necklace.
This pendant. Every time I look at it, I remember that day.
Give it back. It belonged to my mother.
You mean the dragon, responsible for us for losing our home? She may be gone, but you still carry her sins. And without this necklace, even her power is lost to you. All the Nork lives that were lost will be repaid in full. And I'll start by wiping out her legacy.
Metalhead then aims his laser at Ember, unleashing the fullest blast of lightning he ever has. Ember looks on at the lightning blast that is about to come in contact with her. Just then, the pupils in Ember's eyes begin to glow pink. In an instant, the lightning blast connects, causing an electric explosion.
And so, the debt is repaid.
As Metalhead begins to walk away, he then looks back to notice a glowing pink light.
Impossible!
Metalhead looks on as what looks to be pink flames in the shape of Ember's mother surrounds Ember's body like a barrier. The dragon avatar then dissipates in pink flames, which burn on the ground around Ember.
But how?
That pendant may hold her power, but this power is all my own.
In retaliation, Metalhead unleashes a beam of magic lightning at Ember with his laser arm, leading Ember to counter with a full-on blast of her spirit flame. Both elements clash with great power behind it until Ember pushes forward, releasing the full power of her spirit flames. No! Ember's spirit flame then engulfs Metalhead, phasing straight through his orichalcum body. After the flames dissipate, Metalhead drops to his knees, looking unharmed, but acting as if he'd just been damaged heavily. Ember then walks up to Metalhead, looking at him with a serious but solemn expression. How? My body appears undamaged, yet it feels like I've been tormented by the sun. Metalhead looks at Ember, noticing her melancholic expression. No. This isn't where it ends. I am Gnarly Nork, commander of the Nork Empire. I will not be denied my vengeance.
I forgive you.
What?
I forgive you. Believe me, I want nothing more than to hate you for what you did to my mother. But I also need to accept that my mother's not innocent. She helped take your people's homeland from you. And what's worse, she's not here to pay the consequences. So I choose to pay them in her stead. And it begins by forgiving the one she wronged. The one who took her from me.
You dare! Metalhead reaches for Ember, but only ends up grasping the ground due to not being in Ember's range, cracking the ground as a result. In response, Ember turns away from Metalhead and begins walking away. You dare to turn away from me? I can never be destroyed!
You already are. The spirit flames can phase through anything, even orichalcum.
Just then, pink flames begin to rise out of Metalhead's body. What?
The flames don't just destroy the body. They can destroy the spirit.
As Ember walks away, Metalhead's body begins releasing small little explosions from within, breaking his orichalcum body down. As Ember continues to walk away, Metalhead explodes in a pink flaming fury. While Ember takes her leave, a green floating light flies away, coming from where Metalhead, aka Gnarly Nork, had fallen. Back at Gnasty's Stronghold, Spyro comes to, witnessing Sparks distracting Gnasty Nork as best as he can. Sparks! Sparks then notices Spyro. Spyro! Suddenly, Sparks gets hit by Gnasty's mace due to being distracted. Sparks! No! Sparks ends up hitting the wall, followed by falling to the ground.
Huh! I finally got that swarmy bug. Score one for Nork.
Enraged, Spyro charges at Gnasty, jumping onto his arm and biting it with all of his strength. After a lengthy struggle, Gnasty throws Spyro off his arm, knocking him down to the ground. Suddenly, Zoe returns, appearing next to Sparks, attempting to hold him up.
Oh no, Sparks!
I'm good. Zoe then notices Gnasty about to shoot Spyro with a magic beam, leading her to teleport Spyro away quickly, but unable to leave the area for some reason. What gives?
My magic's too weakened. I can't teleport any farther.
Gnasty then notices Spyro and friends to his right.
Nowhere to run now.
As Gnasty attempts to smash them with his mace, Zoe teleports Sparks and Spyro to the pathway across from the portal, unable to go any farther.
I'm out of juice. I can't keep teleporting.
Spyro then begins to come to. Don't worry. Spyro struggles to stand up as Gnasty Nork looks down at them.
How much longer are you gonna keep this going? I've got a world to rule and dragons to smash.
Spyro looks up at Gnasty with eyes of determination and anger. Spyro then looks at a weakened Sparks being held by Zoe, followed by facing Gnasty again.
It's been fun, little dragon. And don't worry.
Gnasty then points his spirit gem at Spyro, followed by unleashing a green magic beam at him. As the beam comes closer to Spyro, he then has a flashback of a younger him and Sparks at the swamp.
Come on, Sparks. Mom and Dad told us not to come here. What's wrong, Spyro? I thought you said you'd love to see a swamp monster. That doesn't mean I believe in it. It's just dark out here. Well, can you at least believe that your older brother's got this handled? You're only older by an hour. But I know you'd protect me through thick and thin. And I know you would for me. I don't think so. I'm terrified of everything out here. What makes you think I'd be brave enough? Sometimes, Spyro...
Back in the present, Spyro still has his eyes closed as the blast closes in on him.
You just gotta believe.
The beam makes contact. A small explosion is caused as a result.
Finally! I beat the purple dragon! Eat that, Dad! I am a somebody after all!
From the smoke emerges an unharmed Spyro, who opens his eyes to see Sparks holding up a barrier with the remaining magic he has left. But even more surprising, Spyro looks to his right to awkwardly see Zoe kissing his right cheek.
What the?
Oh, you, homewrecker.
What'd you say? Nothing.
Zoe then disconnects her kiss from Spyro's cheek.
My family's gonna kill me for that, but at least it worked. What are you talking about?
Suddenly, Spyro's horns, spines, and tail, and wings begin to glow in a pinkish red. It's causing slight pain to his body.
What's happening? It's freaking me out!
As power surges through Spyro's body, his horns begin to transform into that similar to a ram, and his tail becomes spikier than usual. In the end, Spyro is transformed into something new, gaining a power he's never felt before.
What happened? Got a massive makeover, bro! A fairy's kiss is said to hold great power, which is why it's usually forbidden. But it's limited, so hurry! It's all the magic I can spare.
Oh, man. Sparks then is able to materialize a floating mirror with his right hand, allowing Spyro to see himself.
Whoa! I've got Mega Ram power!
Oh, whatever. Like it'll help.
Gnasty Nork then launches another green magic beam at Spyro, only for Spyro to jump over Sparks' barrier and take the beam head-on.
Spyro!
Like it was nothing, the beam hits Spyro, but dissipates throughout his body, making it ineffective against him.
Whoa!
Well. Looks like your magic's useless, Gnasty.
No way! It's not fair! What makes you think you can beat me?
Simple. Spyro then charges straight for Gnasty Nork, his horns unleashing an aura of flames. Gnasty then points out his mace to fire another magic beam at Spyro's sprint charge, about to reach for his mace.
You gotta believe!
As the two clash, an explosion takes place, causing Gnasty's mace to shatter along with the spirit gem. In midair, as the spirit gem is shattered, its energy then places itself within Spyro's body as he's being pushed back in midair. Meanwhile, at the Magic Crafter's Stronghold in Wizard's Peak, Blowhard is relaxing on a throne alongside a plethora of crystal dragon statues. This is the life. Suddenly, the sound of the statues shaking begins to rumble through the room, followed by them cracking, catches Blowhard's attention. As the dragons break free, Blowhard decides to make a quick escape in desperation and shock.
Why can't anything ever go my way?
Blowhard then flies away, deeper into Wizard's Peak. Back at Gnasty's Stronghold, the explosion concludes with Spyro hitting and breaking the portal console, and Gnasty grabbing hold of the portal O-ring before falling into the portal itself. As Spyro wakes up, he notices the destroyed console. Spyro then reverts back to his original form after the time limit on his Mega Ram form is up. Uh-oh. Just then, the portal begins to malfunction, pulling in anything near it, like a vacuum. Gnasty holding onto the portal for dear life.
If the portal isn't destroyed, it'll suck everything in.
Spyro then notices Gnasty's claws nearly digging into the portal's ring, giving him an idea. Spyro then stands up, surprised to be at full strength, readying one last charge attack. Gnasty looks on at Spyro in rage.
You! What makes you think you can stand in my way? Just who do you think you are?
Me? Spyro then charges straight at Gnasty, not noticing he's radiating a green electric aura. Without explanation, Spyro starts rolling frontwards, then transforming into a large earth boulder and rolling as fast as a race car tire. Spyro's earth boulder then hits the front of Gnasty's armor and continues rolling as if it was a buzzsaw.
The name's Spyro!
In the end, the earth boulder shatters, causing Spyro to be flung backwards just as Gnasty Nork is pushed into the portal, his claws scraping and heavily damaging the portal as he enters it. Spyro the Dragon! Gnasty Nork is then sucked into the portal. After landing, Spyro looks on as the portal is beginning to suck in the piece of the portal ring, not knowing if it was going to blow. Spyro and friends then prepare themselves for what comes next, taking cover as best as they can. By the end of it, the portal ultimately implodes, leaving Gnasty's destination unknown to them, due to no one being able to channel the magic to a specific location. Slowly, Spyro, Sparks, and Zoe come out of cover, realizing that it's finally over. The trio then falls down on their backs, relieved that they've won. It's finally over. We need a vacation.
I've heard Dragon Shores is nice this time of year.
We'll talk later. But now we're kind of stuck here, aren't we?
Not necessarily.
Spyro and friends look up to see Drobot, looking down at them with a smile. There's then an awkward silence between Spyro and Drobot, as Spyro looks up in confusion and slight annoyance. Hi?
Greetings. Sorry I'm late.
I thought you said there was no other way back.
Well, despite being the smartest one here, along with the portal you guys came through, I've been hiding underground for so long that I've almost forgot about the alternate route.
Alternate? Moments later, Drobot leads Spyro and friends to an arena with 3 bronze-looking dragon heads, similar to the dragon head portal in the Artisan Kingdom.
The one at the right's the treasure hoard. I highly advise to open it. The Norks or thieves may have plundered more treasure from the Artisan Kingdom.
Spyro and company then open the treasure hoard, only to find the fairies trapped within.
The fairies! Oh yeah, the Thieves Guild didn't want them, just the eggs. But why? Don't know. Have to ask them next time you see them.
Any chance we can save questions for later and just get out of here? Spyro and Zoe then laugh at Sparks' frustration. Spyro then frees the captive fairies, who've now recharged their magic. A few of the fairies then teleport away, with them finding the rest of Spyro's friends one by one. Back in the Artisan Kingdom, Spyro and friends are brought back by the fairy, He's magic, and are given an incredible reunion within the main hall.
Guys! Spyro!
You're okay, dude!
Thank goodness for logical odds.
But letting Spyro take on Gnasty alone wasn't logical.
Okay, I may have relied on faith a bit. Give this dragon of science a break. It's about time.
We were hoping to give you a hero's welcome. Spyro and friends look on as Mrs. Shoutfire and Toasty are hiding behind a small makeshift fort in the middle of the main hall, in case of any extra Nork attacks. Don't ask. Moments later, Spyro and all the other dragons from the 5 kingdoms are all gathered to celebrate their new heroes. For bravery and saving the 5 dragon kingdoms, we award Spyro and his friends with these medals of bravery. The crowd of dragons cheers for Spyro and friends as Aster and company places medals upon them. Meanwhile, the media then approaches Spyro and friends. Spyro, Scarlet Scales here. Dragon Network News. Oh, give it a rest, Bob. We all know your real name. All right, then. Who told him? Anyway, Spyro the Dragon. You defeated Gnasty Gnorc, collected the dragon eggs, saved all the dragons, and recovered every last bit of treasure in the Artisan Kingdom. How do you feel? I feel fired up, Bob. And I'm happy for the 5 kingdoms, of course. I certainly wouldn't want to spend the rest of my dragon days butting heads with Gnasty Gnorc and his weird minions. What's a minion? Never mind. Anyway, you know what they say? For every good battle, you need a good adversary. And I felt that Gnasty, in spite of his misguided nature, was a worthy opponent. Yes, speaking of which, any comment on the whereabouts of Gnasty? Ember and Flame then walk up.
All we know is that he's out there somewhere. But we'll be ready. Because together, we're unstoppable.
We had heard tell that you met another dragon in the dragon junkyard. Where is he now? Back in the dragon junkyard, Drobot enters what used to be Gnasty's war room. Drobot's gonna do his best to rebuild the junkyard into a factory the machinists can be proud of. Drobot then looks to the center of the war room, noticing the pool of vision Gnasty had is gone. I know he's gonna do great things for the 5 kingdoms. Meanwhile, in Wizard's Peak, near the Magic Crafter's Kingdom, Blowhard is walking up the mountains, the bag being held up on a stick, in search of his next evil achievement. And is there any word to the whereabouts of Blowhard after he seemingly escaped to the highest of Wizard's Peak? Back in Artisan Kingdom, Sparks approaches the media. Nothing yet, but we'll be sure to bring down that Blowhard. See what I did there? I see. Finally! As the heroes of the 5 kingdoms, what will you do next? Spyro and the gang look at each other, knowing what to say next.
I'd say the sky's the limit. No one would have guessed a bunch of kids like us would be saving the day. But we did, and now we're here to protect it with everything we've got. Despite the mistakes of our past, we hope to forge a brighter future.
And what makes you think such a future will come to pass? Spyro then looks at his friends with a smile on his face. Well, you know what they say. Spyro and friends then fly up high in happiness.
You gotta believe!
That night, in the hallways of Artisan Castle, Aster and the Dragon Elders exit the main hall, with Nestor waiting outside the door as Aster approaches him. Well? Mine is Titan. We voted to keep Spyro's identity a secret from him, especially after all the trouble he's been through. Trouble we should have been able to stop. You know as well as I do, it's only a matter of time before he learns the truth himself. For once we agree on something. He may have saved us all, but I for one believe this only proves that the purple dragon is just as dangerous as his predecessor, and can become just as powerful. That debate between us at this point is pointless, Titan. The real question lies beyond our sight.
And what question would that be, Aster?
Who gave Gnasty a spirit gem? Meanwhile, in the Machinist realm, on an unknown island, one of Gnasty Nork's boats from Nork Cove is seen docked at the island. What appears to be a giant tower with a strange device on top of it absorbs a strange pulse of energy from the sky that channels downward into a strange-looking factory. Within the factory, a machine transfers its energy into what appears to be a staff with a dark-looking crystal on top of it, allowing it to glow and signifying it gaining full power. Sitting in a nearby chair, a shadowy figure is watching a recording of Spyro and Friends' interview on Dragon News Network on a giant monitor, pausing it after hearing the sound of the machine. Finally. Just then, the sounds of footsteps are heard, followed by a red-clawed arm that grabs the staff and takes it. Not fully according to plan, but it appears the shard I gave Gnasty Nork has finally been shattered. And what's more, Gnasty's giving me an inspiring idea. Now, we can finally begin Phase 2. The unknown figure then unleashes a small dark lightning bolt at what appears to be a Machinist forged portal. The strange figure then looks at the nearby monitor, showing Spyro and Friends on stage in the celebration of their victory. Fret not, Purple Dragon, for very soon you shall fulfill your true destiny. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to check out our merch store, Buy Me a Coffee page, and Amazon affiliate link linked in the description and pinned comment below, so you can help us expand the channel and give you guys higher quality content. Also, if you want to check out our original content, be sure to check out the playlists linked in the description below. With all that said and done, I'm JT Anime, and I'll check you guys later.